Keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic. People, this the intro.
Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
The Chicago Bears are set to take on the Washington Commanders on Thursday Night Football, but Bears fans, there's a little bit of a twist going into this matchup against the Commanders. There's something huge trending all over social media, and it has everything to do with head coach Matt Eberflus and his status as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. According to Peter King, which you guys know how I feel about Peter King, he is, to me, a very reliable and respected source around the National Football League. Peter King says he won't be shocked if the Bears fire head coach Matt Eberflus in the event that they lose to the Commanders on Thursday and they fall to 0-5. This is what he told 670 to score. I would not be surprised if it is a bad loss Thursday, and if the Bears make a change, it wouldn't be surprising. Just to remind you guys, the Chicago Bears have never fired a head coach in season before, so this will come as somewhat of a shock if this actually happened. So Bears fans, I wanted to come on here today just to give my opinion on this news or this rumor going around head coach Matt Eberflus. You guys all know how I feel about the situation surrounding head coach Matt Eberflus. I feel that Matt Eberflus should absolutely be fired as Chicago Bears head coach. He is 3-18 as head coach of the Chicago Bears, which is the worst record ever in franchise history for a Chicago Bears head coach. They have lost 14 straight games, and they're threatening a 15-game losing streak if, in fact, they fall on Thursday Night Football to the Washington Commanders. Matt Eberflus has shown nothing as head coach of the Chicago Bears, especially considering that we hired him to be this defensive genius, and the Chicago Bears defense has looked like absolute crap for 2 seasons straight. And especially now, since Alan Williams is gone and Matt Eberflus has now taken over play calling duties for the Chicago Bears defense, and they have looked absolutely putrid the last couple of games as him calling the defensive plays for the Chicago Bears. But as we all know and as we all heard before, that is not the McCaskey way to actually fire a head coach mid-season. So the question comes is, would Ryan Poles or would the McCaskey family actually sign off on Ryan Poles actually pulling the trigger if, in fact, we do lose to the Washington Commanders and drop to 0-5 to actually let go of head coach Matt Eberflus during the season? That remains to be seen. But to me, and I know to a bunch of Chicago Bears fans, that is exactly what we want. But here is the other complication with actually letting go of head coach Matt Eberflus during the season. Who would actually replace head coach Matt Eberflus? And that's the big thing. Do you guys really want Luke Getsy taking over as head coach? Of course, you can look at Richard Hightower, the special teams coordinator, to maybe take over as head coach. Maybe you can look at the linebackers coach. But at the same time, if you fire head coach Matt Eberflus, we no longer have a defensive coordinator. Alan Williams resigned a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, head coach Matt Eberflus is now calling the defensive plays for the Chicago Bears defense. So if you fire head coach Matt Eberflus in season, there's going to be a whole lot of moving parts here in order to not only have an interim head coach for the Chicago Bears, then you have to figure out who's going to be calling defensive plays for the Chicago Bears defense. So there's a whole lot of hurdles to go over before actually firing head coach Matt Eberflus as a Chicago Bears head coach. Personally, I want to see him fired, especially if they lose tomorrow night against the Washington Commanders. But knowing the McCaskey family, knowing the history of the Chicago Bears, it would be a huge shocker if they actually pull the trigger and fire head coach Matt Eberflus. So at this point, Bears fans, I think if they do fire head coach Matt Eberflus, it would be like a breath of fresh air, because once again, the McCaskey family has never fired a Chicago Bears head coach mid-season, but it would kind of show the fan base that they actually care a little bit about the direction of this football team. And at this point, Matt Eberflus has shown you nothing as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So at this point, go ahead and cut your losses and fire Matt Eberflus as Chicago Bears head coach. But all in all, Bears fans, I absolutely believe this rumor going around. If it's another performance where they looked unprepared, especially on the defensive side of the football, where they have no inability to get off the field on third downs, they're giving up 30 plus points a game, right? And they just look absolutely terrible once again. With Matt Eberflus calling the defensive plays, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if the Bears actually decided to make a change. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. If the Chicago Bears drop to 0-5 after losing to the Washington Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Do you think the Chicago Bears should actually pull the trigger and fire head coach Matt Eberflus? Let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.